buy or lease rules in the morning.
Welcome, B-Movie fans, to another B-Movie interview. I'm Paul.
And I'm Corey.
And joining us today are three of the creators of the Christmas-themed horror film Good Tidings: Stuart Jopia, Stuart Bedford and Giovani Gentile. And they are here to talk about their film. Guys, welcome to our show.
Hello.
Thank you.
So
How's it going?
Good.
Pretty good. How are you guys?
We're good, thank you.
Yeah, good. As I say, recovering from Christmas. Recovering from making a Christmas movie and from Christmas.
Speaking of good Christmas, your movie is called Good Tidings. Is this the first film that you three worked on together?
Yeah, as a group, yeah. It's the first one.
It's the first feature. We've kind of done shorts here and there together as well. And Stu Jopia and I have sort of worked. We've sold a couple of scripts. We've worked on a couple of films that weren't ours. But this is our first feature that we've done under our own banner.
Very cool. Did you guys originally plan Good Tidings to be a Christmas-themed slasher, or did you just kind of have an idea for a horror slasher and the Christmas theme kind of came together?
I've always wanted to do a Christmas horror movie. I adore them, and when we kind of wanted to do a feature, I kind of put the idea of a possible could we do a Christmas movie. And it all kind of came from the location that we got of the courthouse, to be honest. We got that location, and that sort of led us into wanting to do, what ideas, what things could we do in this courthouse? What could we do? And we kind of came up with the idea of wanting to do a siege-type movie, and that led us for me to go, please make it Christmas. And we sort of, kind of was born from there, really.
Yeah, it was really the Santas, actually, I think, that kind of sort of started our imaginations going. Stu J kind of, as he said, he loves Christmas movies and he's always wanted to do one. He watches so many Christmas horrors every year. And same for me, really. So he brought us, he kind of came up with this idea of these Santas. And as I say, yeah, it was really the location. It was almost like, okay, we've got these Santas. Then we kind of secured this awesome location, the courthouse, and they just mashed together really well. But when we saw the Santas for the first time, it was just obvious they were going to pop on camera. So it wasn't much of a sell from Stu, to be honest, because as soon as you kind of see them, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be cool. So I would say we kind of did start out with Christmas in mind, to be honest with you.
I reckon so.
Yeah.
Defo. But yeah, once that first photograph that we did, the still of the three Santas, that was the thing that did it. That we kind of went, okay, these look awesome. This is going to work. So let's move on with the sort of whole Christmas theme and work on that. So yeah, it was definitely started as something we wanted to do in Christmas, and it just sort of the location fed it all really. And
we had the homeless element in mind as well pretty quickly, really. So we knew the two players and we had the location. The rest just came, didn't it? It came together pretty quick.
I think we had that kind of sort of central theme of Christmas being cruel to the poor. That was kind of what we wanted to say from the beginning, really. I mean, obviously that developed as we developed the story. But you put in three evil Santas versus homeless people. And then as soon as we found the courthouse, that sort of fed into that theme of it sort of being judgment. So yeah, it was a kind of very cohesive concept, I think, from the beginning, with Christmas as a kind of central sort of metaphor, if you like, of Christmas being cruel to the poor. As I say, these Santas are literally attacking homeless people. It's Christmas attacking poor people, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Definitely a cool idea. Nothing quite says Christmas like Killer Santas.
Of course.
Absolutely.
What was the most fun aspect that you guys think of making the movie Good Tidings?
I think, for me, personally, it was working with the Santas, because I know, if you've seen the movie, you'll know that it's kind of played totally straight, and it's quite bleak, and you've got a lot of kind of harsh themes flying about addiction and sort of redemption and all that sort of stuff. But when we were working with the Santas are just having fun then, and they're just totally, even from a directorial standpoint, they were sort of unpredictable, if you know what I mean. Gio kind of was really Gio was a very unpredictable element, you know, and you didn't know what you were quite gonna get, and that's good. You know, I'm not having a go, Gio. That's good.
I get it. I was difficult to manage because the Santa you wanted me to play was difficult to manage.
So, we were totally in taking the role on, as we should say, kept it going on set type of thing. You know, once you put the Santa mask on, you
become a different person. It
kind of feeds. Yeah, you become the different person. You become that person that it is, and yeah, you can be a bit of a handful on set. We were just keeping Stewie on his toes,
but
really.
One thing you got to realize is you can't see anything out of those masks. I mean, it's really hard to see. And my Santa was the most aggressive, and you're like, look over here. And I was missing cues and missing you talking because I couldn't see you. And people were getting angry because I wasn't seeing them. And I was like, I can't see you. So that made me angry. Anyway, yeah. That probably wasn't the fun part, but it was.
What's your fun part then, Gio?
My fun part was taking a shower at the end of the day and getting rid of that disgusting suit smell. It was just horrible.
But yeah, you know, I think the Santas definitely sort of, as characters, even had the most fun.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. Definitely agree.
So
I mean, that was we were pretty much, we were on set pretty much nearly like every other day. We would be on set, you know what I mean, and you were just putting that horrible costume on that was just covered in the worst blood and horrible.
That mask is plastic as well, so as soon as you sweat, it just sticks to your face, and it was.
But I did not mind getting up at 6 a.m. and going and putting it on. So that's definitely probably the funnest part for me, to be honest. Definitely the funnest part, playing one of the Santas. Mm-hmm. Definite.
Sounds like it. That actually leads into our next question. We have to ask of Stu and Giovanni, what was it like playing these psychopathic, serial-killing Santa Clauses? It definitely looked like it was probably a lot of fun, but was it difficult kind of playing characters that didn't talk, or did that make it easier, or just kind of like playing silent characters? What was that like?
Go on, Stu.
I mean, for me, I think having the mask on and being kind of silent was perfect, because we're not full on actors, and like being able to just play something that was completely off the scale and kind of almost a caricature of what maybe kind of sits deep inside us a little bit. I mean, I when I kind of when we came up with the concepts of the Santas, and we took them as our own, and kind of went, all right, let's see what we can do with them. With my one, obviously bringing kind of the limp and stuff like that. I don't even know why I even kind of brought the limp in and stuff like that. It was just.
Did you have a bad leg on the first day, and you were just like, "Fuck it, I'll just go."
Yeah, it must have. Yeah, you just go, "Oh, I want to be so completely different and do stuff that I don't ever do in real life in any way, shape, or form." And that was a perfect 18 days of playing this crazy Santa that. Once you've seen it as well, it's kind of the Santas have got their own little personalities, and that's bringing that to each of our characters, I think, was a massive detrimental part of this movie. And a lot of it, because we were under a lot of, we were doing everything really quickly, and we didn't have a lot of time, and we kind of didn't do a huge amount of tests with the Santas. I think Stewie put a lot of faith into what we would turn up with.
I knew you guys had clear ideas of what was going on. You could see.
I had a clear idea of the Santa at first, but then when I think that is not the Santa that came out.
But it's one of them, isn't it? We sort of let those Santas naturally
evolve,
appear, if you like, and evolve, and I think that really worked in our favor, because as you say, with that limp, Stu, we had that limp sort of in the early tests, and we were kind of, and there was something that sparked in my mind then about going, Curly's the kind of vulnerable one. Curly's going to be the one with the sort of
The vulnerability side to it, yeah, I remember.
He's got the arc. He's who you, out of the Santas, who you sort of empathise with in a little bit, in a way. And I think even early on with that limp, that kind of fed into that.
It gives it that sort of instant kind of, okay, why, you know, he kind of gets slapped around a bit as well, you know?
Yeah, and Mo is the alpha male with big, broad, sort of powerful, and Larry was the animalistic one, the more like
maniac.
Knuckle dragger, if you know what I mean.
Card.
Yeah.
You kind of knew what Mo was going to do. You knew what kind of Curly was going to do, but I liked... And we had this idea of going, okay, like, Mo is going to be kind of the big guy that kind of does all of the planning and the moving people around. Curly, who Stu played, is going to be the guy who you really only see in the sort of hostage room. But Larry's the dude who can kind of show up anywhere at any time.
Yeah, he's the...
you know, he went where...
Michael pops up in places and has people laugh and does horrible things and is the quite cruel one of the three, I'd say.
Yeah,
it works perfectly for me.
Yeah, kept on a kind of short leash by Mo in a way.
I like the fact that they're all named after...
Sorry, go on.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I like the fact they're all named after the Three Stooges. I thought, like, because you don't really hear their names in the movie, but reading the credits, I'm like, oh, cool. It's if the Three Stooges became Santa Claus and went on a murder spree. That's pretty neat.
No wonder they got taken off the air.
Yeah, it sort of came from a short story I wrote a while ago about a bank robbery where the guys were wearing Three Stooges masks, and I always really loved that idea of... It was kind of Point Break-ish in my original sort of short story. But then when we were writing this, I was like, wouldn't it be cool to kind of like sort of emulate that Three Stooges dynamic in a way? You know, so you've got Larry and Curly kind of fighting each other and Mo kind of slapping them about, but ending up getting involved in the fight sort of himself. But let's push that to the fact that they're like crazy murderers. You know, so that's why Mo's always booting Curly, and you know, Larry's always giving Curly shit, but sort of like cowering to Mo. Yeah,
we kind of copied the dynamic, I suppose, really, but it worked out.
It's a homage.
It's good because you don't absolutely, you don't, as you said, you don't know that until the very last. Yeah. The credits are rolling, you go, okay, haha. Cool, all right. You've
and then if you watch it again,
but it plays and it works.
Yes, that's what I mean. If you watch it again, knowing that, you go, oh yeah, there's that like that's
okay, there's this sort of, yeah, absolutely playful and sort of a bit crazy. You know what I mean? But I think it worked as just, you know, they are these kind of killers that you don't see anyone's faces, but you still get, and they don't all feel like the same person. You know, that was the one thing we wanted to do, was not make three Santas feel like one, and you could never tell who was on the screen. You know, which is one thing that we definitely wanted to do. That's why I think, because we never really sat off with each other, did we, as Santas, and kind of went, all right, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is how we're going to play this.
No, we kept ourselves separate from the homeless people as well to try and build up a bit of tension.
Yeah, we never really put the Santa stuff on. When we were in rehearsals, we'd just play it as ourselves, you know what I mean, rather than kind of put the Santas on. So when we put them on for the first time and sort of get in this full Santa mode, it was kind of a bit creepier for the people to make it a bit more strange.
It did say it was weird having to stare at blank eyes and stuff like that.
And just Santa staying in kind of, you know, costume and how they would be for the whole... A few times
where we were off scene, there was like, could you just stand there with your mask on just to give me that sort of like, you know, feeling? I was like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Get the actors in the mood.
Well, that's it. We tried to kind of not see the Santas out of the masks as much as possible. Obviously, we had to from time to time. But there was an element of like, let's not sort of see Gio without standing around eating a sausage roll.
Yeah, just keep it more mysterious and a bit freakier for them all, isn't it?
Did help.
It did.
I definitely thought you guys did a good job with... Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, go on.
I definitely thought you guys did a good job with making them all distinct characters. Like one of them was more childish. You could tell which one was the leader, and even just by like how they'd kill. Like the one that was more brutal was I don't really know which one was Larry, Moe, and Curly, but like when at the end where the woman was kind of holding the one, like kind of comforting him. It's like, okay, he's got a completely different personality than that one who just, decapitated that guy. So I thought you guys did pretty well with that.
Yeah, thanks, man. We worked kind of hard on that from the beginning, really, because we were aware of how easy it would be for these guys to just bleed into one Santa.
Totally. And then there's no point then in having three of them.
Of course, we may as well just add one
doing all the murdering, but it makes it more playful as well, I think, because it's got, as Stewie was saying before, it's played totally straight, and it's the only sort of not even comical, just playful,
zickiness,
yeah, absolutely. And I think it just adds that little, Christmas element to it. I think weird little playful, horrible characters that are doing really horrible things. But, somewhere down the line, you start to feel a little bit for them because you understand them as kind of strange characters that we've...
Well, that's... Oh, sorry, man, I thought you'd finished.
No, yeah. Go.
That's the interesting thing about having three of them, isn't there, really? Because if you look at, like, a film like Halloween or Friday the 13th, you've got this sort of Golem-esque killer, silent, doesn't say anything, he's going around killing everyone. But then you add two other characters to the mix, you start being able to kind of give them their own little story. Even though they don't speak, you can give them this, you could have played it totally straight where they just killed everyone and then it was homeless people versus Santas. But what we kind of found with having the three killers and having them as three distinct characters is that the personalities within that group could also clash. So you've got conflict internally within the homeless people, but then you've also got this kind of power struggle with the Santas happening.
Yeah, it makes it more three-dimensional, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So, it's not just homeless people versus Santas, it's homeless people versus Santas plus Santas versus Santas. And that gave us the opportunity to sort of develop one of the Santas into an almost subplot protagonist, if you like. Which, obviously... like Stu said, just gives us a bit more dimension to those characters, so they're not just Golem-esque killers. We're referencing all those awesome slasher movies that we love, but we're also able to make you feel for one of our characters, hopefully, for one of the Santas, and that just adds a bit more. We were kind of thinking.
Didn't somebody cry when Curly died at the end? The candy cane Santa.
Oh, spoiler alert!
I did.
Oh shit! Yeah. Sorry.
That did.
It's not live.
Yeah.
So people do. Yeah, I mean, it kind of. I've had a few people go to me. My God, man, I totally felt sorry for you at the end. I'm like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's nice. That's worked because that's kind of what we wanted.
That's totally worked. But yeah, it was one of the assistants on it. We were on set and he hadn't sort of read the script because, you're a camera assistant. You don't really need to read the script. And when we got to the scene that Gio spoiled for everybody, he was like, I don't want him to die. I was like, that's awesome, man. I like that.
I was the Santa and I wanted him to die because he's a monster.
But that's why I think it kind of worked well having the three Santas and being able to tell that little story, because if you can turn a killer, like a horrible killer, around and people are going, I didn't want him to die, you're like, yeah, nice. That's like, Lecter, you've liked a horrible person.
Yeah, totally. It's like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You kind of feel a little bit sorry for Leatherface at times.
You do, yeah.
Being beat up by all the other people, and you go, oh God, what's happened to this?
Yeah, in a weird, I'm still
that way,
sort of way.
Yeah, it's just that interesting angle that you can put on killers, which can work and can't work, and I'm glad that people are saying that it worked because.
But it is like awesome. The kind of Lecter thing, innit? You're going, I kind of like this character, even though he fucking eats humans, and that's a sort of, it's kind of a interesting thing because it just means you want to watch it. You want to watch him. It's hard if you hated him, you wouldn't want to watch because he becomes one of the main characters, doesn't he?
It's also satisfying though when you kill a bad guy who you really want to die.
Oh yeah,
and his death needs to be satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's yours.
You want to feel something, either satisfied or sad.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Feeling something is at least, you've created something that people care about there, and that's the main thing when watching it. That's why we made them the homeless. Because we didn't just want the people who were being attacked. We wanted them to be, not just kids running around making stupid decisions and having no sort of backstory or any reason for being in the location that they are or whatever. It just felt a little bit more interesting to push a story forward, by making interesting characters rather than just sort of golems along the whole way. The killer's a golem and everyone else is, and that's awesome. I love movies like that, but we just wanted to try and mix in some decent characters that we could play with and people could kind of enjoy. Feel sorry for.
I suppose if we wanted to go more commercial, we could have had like 13 horny teens break into the abandoned courthouse and
totally
for a romp.
That would have been that's the easy way in
That's Good Tidings too. Come on.
That's just
But it's more interesting, isn't it? I think when you feel for the people who are getting killed in a horror movie, and go, oh no, shit, this guy's dying. I don't want this guy to die. You know what I mean? Oh no, this guy's dying. That type of thing. I like that in a horror movie. Makes you feel something a little bit more than just kids dying.
Which
making stupid. Why don't we run down here and kind of run into the killer now and die immediately? And everyone goes, yeah, that's a dead good idea. And we all watch them die and not care for them. So yeah, I think that was it, really.
This is a Christmas horror movie, which is a wonderful subgenre all on its own. But it brings together two polar opposite ideas, one of horror and terror and, the things that go bump in the night, and the other of Christmas, jolly, happy, family, love, caring. But yet they seem to mesh together so well. Why do you think that is?
I think because what you described Christmas as is not Christmas for probably most of the people in the world. I think.
Go on, sorry, Joe.
No, go on. I need to put my thoughts together. I haven't quite done it yet. But yeah, it was just like people always assume Christmas is a happy time, but it's not for a lot of people. And I think to an extent we kind of know that. And that's why we used homeless people.
It's deep down, and people can feel that. They know that. They see it on the television. They see things at Christmas. Christmas is always, they always push a lot of the help this person, help this, and as it absolutely should be. So people know. We all have these really nice time, and we have lots of food. But we all deep down know that there's people out there that are not well off, that aren't having a nice Christmas, or don't celebrate Christmas, or whatever. We all know that, and I think putting that into it, that feeds into the horror sort of aspect, and I think people are intrigued to see the darker side of what Christmas is.
What is Christmas for like poor homeless people? It's just the same time of the year but cold. That's it.
And that in our characters they've done something to get themselves out of that. They still get shit brought down upon them by these Santas. They've brought themselves, as the line in there. Why are these Santas doing it to us? They've sort of brought, we've brought ourselves out of the dirt and the cold, and they're just still coming. And that's, a big metaphor really for the. Yeah, it's still always going to be a bit shit for someone around the world, and a lot of people take it for granted, and it just fits well. I think it just, I don't know, the whole sort of, I think Santa Claus and the whole thing about Christmas is kind of a little bit creepy anyway. Dude is like invading your home. Dude invading your home and he leaves presents, and you gotta leave him like some milk and some cookies, and it's kind of weird, and kids get it destroyed for them, when they're young, and that's a really harsh time when you find out that Santa Claus isn't real, and you kind of, there's something in that. That's why a lot of the films that are set at Christmas kind of have that little depressing thing to it, like in Krampus, or Krampus is totally about, oh man, I don't believe in the spirit of Christmas anymore, and Christmas is shit and blah blah blah, and by doing that, this evil Santa comes and gets you. It's always the Christmas films have got this depressing side to it as well, because Christmas has. That's why holiday movies work so well in the horror genre, I think.
Yeah,
We're all meant to be happy, aren't we? But it's sometimes happiness is hard. It's hard to achieve, especially when you have to be.
Yeah, well, we're all told we have to be happy at these times. That's the thing, isn't it? You know, we all should be good, and it all should be, and it'd be awesome if it is, but it isn't for a lot of people. And that's the thing. That's why it just works. It just works perfectly in the horror genre. You know, that you take a time that's meant to be all joyful, and you throw in something that's like a killer or killers or creatures or whatever, and it fucks with that, with your time that is meant to be precious, and it's meant to be happy and joyful. You know, we have these few times. We don't have many of them times spotted through, and it's a time for everyone, isn't it? It's because we all can do it. You know, we all have our birthdays, but they're ours, aren't they? You know, yeah, someone else may have it, but Christmas is everyone in the world has Christmas, but, you know, Hanukkah or whatever, you know, they all believe in that. It's a shared thing. So
don't you realize? I think we did this kind of inadvertently, but the homeless people kind of figured out the true meaning of Christmas. They don't really have stuff. They got very few things. They've got garbage food, yet they're probably having the most truly happy Christmas, because comparatively to where they were, they're somewhere really good right now.
They're thankful, aren't they?
Yeah. So
you know,
yeah, exactly. I mean,
thankful.
It's what I know you were going for it, but to me, I didn't really click until kind of recently when I was watching it again. I was like, yeah, their spirit is kind of more pure than ours. We need stuff and socks
for what they've got, which is finally some warmth and some food. And you know, I think the idea of there's something about horror and Christmas, because of them being so polar opposite in terms of like imagery. It's like I'm going back to Hannibal Lecter again, but in that scene in Silence of the Lambs where he escapes and there's classical music playing over this scene where he's really brutally murdering gods in horror movies. There's something about the juxtaposition.
Yeah, almost poetically, like he's
exactly. It
like
adds
an
extra,
orchestra. Like,
of course, it's almost like this is his
conductor.
Orchestra. He's a conductor of murder, and that's what we did a couple of times with sort of Christmas carols. For example, there's a torture scene which God Rest You Merry Gentlemen's playing over. So you've almost got this idea of these Santas almost being in their element, you know, while they're murdering these homeless people. So there's this nice sort of dichotomy, as we've been talking about. You know, Christmas is supposed to be jolly, but really for a lot of people it isn't. But it's almost like Christmas revels in the sort of commercialism, you know, so they just kind of juxtapose really nicely, and it almost adds a sense of meaning, I think.
It's like the homeless people were trying to break the commercial aspect of it, and Santa...
Yeah, they get the true meaning of it. But yeah, Christmas is like, nope, fuck you. Christmas is about,
buying stuff.
Senselessness.
Yeah, it's about
commercialism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You know, if you, for example, I've just got to put a deposit down on a house and all that sort of stuff this year. I'm really skint. You know, I haven't got a lot of money, but you still have to spend money on everyone, literally. I've still spent money, and I'm just like, oh, God, I've got no money left, really. I mean, I have, you know, I've got enough, but that's if you don't go out and buy everyone's stuff. Inside, you feel like you've done wrong.
Yeah, because, you know, the telly tells us that we are, that's why.
Of course.
You do, but I haven't bought anybody anything. I was like, no, nobody left. Sorry.
I'll just make everyone Christmas presents this year, man.
Yeah, you know,
like,
I was going to write poems for all my brothers and sisters and that, and I went, nah, fuck that, actually. I just went to home.
But, like, I can't play with a poem.
I know.
I can't play with it.
I felt like if I wrote them, like...
It'll be horrible, though, if you write a poem, though. You'll just make it... You'll pour your feeling into it, and it'll scare people.
That's crap.
Make a Christmas haiku or something like that.
Yeah.
Like Santa-related, Santa murdering.
My skills. But then I went, you know what? That's shit. They'll all just be like, that's shit. So I had to buy everything. You know, and it's... Yeah. That's the real meaning of Christmas today, isn't it?
Pretty much. Yeah, when I was watching Good Tidings, actually, I kind of had the say. I kind of saw what you guys meant with the kind of like the real meaning of Christmas versus the materialism. Like you had the homeless people, especially the main guy who went out of his way to help these homeless people, these former drug users, and then you had the Santa Clauses who just wanted to kill people to like feel good and everything. So you had somebody who was basically really altruistic versus these murderers who basically just wanted to sate whatever need and feel fun no matter what.
Very selfish.
Yeah, kind of. It's like no matter like what the cost was.
Because it was their playtime. You know, it was their Christmas playtime. Yeah. They bring their toys and they're having lots of fun this Christmas. You know what I mean? By messing with these guys throughout the whole film, and that's kind of a strange thing to bring into a movie, you know, that they're sort of fun with it. You know, you don't really get that. You know, you see Michael Myers. I don't know if he looks like he's having fun, but you never quite tell he's having fun murdering everyone. You know what I mean?
I think Michael Myers is more like he's got a need to do it. He can't stop.
He has to.
He's angry.
It's like a force of
These
nature.
guys have made this decision to follow them and go in there and
when you need to kill, but you don't enjoy it. It's one thing, but when somebody does it purely for like the joy of it.
Yeah.
It's not even sexual. It's more like, let's do this. It'll be a crack, innit?
Yeah. Well, we can discuss their motivations not being sexual. I kind of think it makes it a little bit more unsettling that it's not sexually motivated. You know, there's that bit where Mo is going to pick a victim and he goes to pick Roxy, who's the drug user, who's one of the other main characters. And sort of Curly's developed this connection to her, so he jumps in the way and Mo makes a conscious decision to take someone else. So that was kind of like us going, these guys are capable of acting with passion to each other.
I think with Mo, it's more like he couldn't be bothered. You know what I mean? It was unimportant as long as he got somebody.
Yeah.
But Curly had this sort of childish feeling for, you know what I mean? Like he's like a sort of mother figure, but not quite. Like he's confused, really, isn't he? He doesn't really. It's not like I'm in love with her.
No, but that was the opposing sort of conceptual charge, if you like, because we had this sort of father-daughter dynamic between the main character and the drug user, and then we sort of flip that when she gets taken hostage, and you have this kind of mother-son sort of dynamic developing. It's kind of like contrasting with the main plot.
I'd love to hear her take on this. Actually, next time we talk, I'm going to ask her what she thought. It'd be interesting to see what she thought, really.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of talk about that when we were rehearsing and sort of when we were talking about the scenes and blocking and stuff like that. You know, because it could have easily developed into a sexually motivated thing, and we were like very careful not to let it do that.
I think that would have downplayed the whole thing, really.
I think so. I think it would have been like, oh, right, yeah, serial killer, sexually motivated. It's obvious. All serial murders are sexually motivated. What I like about these killers is that there's none of that.
That's why it's like, you know, it makes it more of a twisted sense of humor, I think, that runs through that via it being that way. You know what I mean? That plays their humor. They want, like when Curly is doing the, there's pasta parcel in there, and there's all sorts of traps set up, and it's got that sort of Home Alone-ish kind of feel, but a reverse Home Alone. But yeah, they're essentially just having fun. It's their Christmas. They want to have the fun, and they are for most of it. You know what I mean? And then
adult 12-year-old.
Yeah, absolutely. They've just come in to go, all right, we're going to disrupt these guys having fun and have our own. Lock them in and spend a day on Christmas Day having torturous games with a bunch of people and make them gutted that it's on Christmas Day, really.
Yeah.
What movies inspired the creation of Good Tidings?
Die Hard, I think. There's a lot of Die Hard.
There's definitely a lot of Die Hard in there.
Good bit of Die Hard.
Structurally, I mean, I watched Die Hard the other day.
For Christmas,
I was saying, who doesn't watch Die Hard for Christmas?
Yeah, I mean,
bad people.
Absolutely.
But
I mean,
structurally, it's very similar.
It is. It is. I mean, I love Die Hard. For me, is literally like one of the first Christmas films that gets watched on the list. You know what I mean? And I love. I mean, we sort of had a bit of a Assault on Precinct 13 vibe going on as well. That was something that we wanted. It was obviously a siege movie, and we wanted to kind of. That was a big jump off point, wasn't it? I think when we were writing it, was Assault on Precinct 13. A lot of John Carpenter stuff.
We tried to make it feel claustrophobic without it being too repetitive. It was hard to do. I think we pulled it off, really.
There's definitely a lot of Deadly Night in there. We obviously took cues from all the awesome Christmas horrors that we love.
Yeah, picking the kills and stuff like that, making them Christmassy. As I say, we watch these movies all the time. It's got a bit of Texas Chainsaw Massacre in there for me, definitely.
There's some twisted family dynamic.
Yeah, definitely. That's just few. When we write it, we sit down and watch like kind of lots and lots of the movies that are kind of like that. That are along those lines. So we kind of have a lot of influence. There is quite a lot of influence and like a homage. But yeah, bits of Home Alone, bits of Silent Night, Deadly Night, bit of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Bit of Stage Fright, bit of any of the 80s and 70s sort of exploitation slashes that we love, but obviously we wanted to kind of make it slightly different and kind of weave in the characters, and obviously the characters from the bad guys that you don't often get, and sometimes you're kind of like, I'd love to know what the kind of a bit more about that killer or something like that, you know what I mean? But yeah, mostly we'd watched a lot of 70s and 80s exploitation slashes. But I think Assault on Precinct 13 was definitely a big jumping point for having, we had the cells, we had this one location that people are trying to get in, when they're having these guys off. So it's got that kind of 70s feel that we always wanted to keep through, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that was from the start. We said this is a 70s exploitation movie. It sort of snowballed, if you forgive the pun, and picked up a lot of influences on the way. As I say, the Die Hard influence is blatant because of the kind of one guy being the spanner in the works.
Yeah. And he's got his vest on kind of halfway through.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
He's got I think he even kind of he's got a bit of a John McClane vibe to him, definitely.
Yeah. But then, like as you say, the assault thing came in. That was a big part of it, and yeah, it picked up a lot along the way. But it all made a kind of, I think, quite distinct sort of image in the end. There's even that direct reference to Die Hard in it, where Die Hard with a Vengeance, where he realizes, oh shit, spoiler alert. He has that moment where he says it's syrup.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's the syrup moment. Yeah.
That's that.
I didn't even clock that. How did I not?
Yeah, man. Totally.
Because once we realized structurally, it was like, quite. Because I also think Die Hard's one of the tightest scripts I've literally ever read and ever seen. There's no wasted time. Even the moment where he's like, take your shoes off and ball your feet, and that leads on to being in barefoot throughout the whole movie, and you go, oh my god, man, he's doing all this in bare feet. It's like, it's a perfect script.
It's got everything, that movie, man. It's got everything. Yeah. Like all the characters, man. They don't make movies like that anymore. All the side characters, like Al and what's the driver? I can't remember what the driver's called. Argyle, man. And
Argyle.
All these side characters have detrimental bits to the plot, man, and it's amazing. You know what I mean? The whole structure, and you're in there for like 2 hours, and you're like, "This is the greatest thing ever."
Yeah,
it's not Christmas until you see him fall out the window. That's the moment that Christmas comes.
Yeah. So as soon as it went, oh my god, yeah, I'm going to write a Die Hard reference in, and that was the syrup line.
So what qualities do you guys think make a great film? And could each of you give us an example of one film you think is great, other than Die Hard, as we've already found out is one of the greatest movies ever?
Oh, definitely.
It is great. Who wants to start?
I don't know if I can answer that, because it depends how I feel. Like one moment I'll be watching one thing, and the next day something will have happened, and I'll need to have watched a completely different film. And the previous film, I'll be like, no, I can't do that right now. So you got to come back to me. I got to think about it, and it'll depend on how I feel right now.
I think I'll go with what I've gone. I don't know. I think for me, as we're writers and we like characters. I think having a movie with great characters, people that you can relate to, people that you feel things for when you on their journey. Because at the end of the day, a movie is it's a journey, and it's a journey that we probably all don't live very often. That's why we watch horror movies. That's why we watch sci-fi movies. That's why we watch things that make us feel something different. And characters for me is a strong part of that. So I think for me, The Goonies is one of the greatest movies ever made.
I fucking hate that movie.
I love that movie. What's wrong with you?
You hate it?
There's something wrong with him.
I think it's because I didn't see it till I was in my 20s, and so many people hyped it up so much that there's no nostalgia in it for me, and I think that's the issue.
I get that.
That is totally my game. That is totally my game. I watched that as a kid, probably around their age, and you kind of, you watch it continually. And I love the kids. I love each and everyone, all their little characters that they are, and the mission that they go on and that. But yeah, I totally get that, because I know people who've seen films that I love. And I'm a lot older than a few of the people that I know. So, I've watched it when I was a kid, and people go, no, but I've watched that as an adult and I didn't get it, or I didn't have that thing because it's not nostalgic. And I get that, though. But yeah, for me, Goonies, man, it just makes me feel good every time I watch the Goonies.
I work with kids, so to me, the characters in the Goonies are just really annoying.
I want to leave work at work.
I can get that though.
I think for me, what makes a great movie is sort of like substance, if you know what I mean. So let's just pick an example of Dawn of the Dead. Something in there that kind of social commentary. It's a movie that you can watch the story, and you can you've got a plot, you can watch it unfolding, and then that's the story. But underneath that, there's something of substance. There's a metaphor. There's some, obviously it's the simplest one I can think of, Dawn of the Dead. We're all zombies anyway. We're all consumers. We flock towards them all. That's just what we're programmed and ingrained to do. Obviously, on top of that, there's the story of the world ending, but it's things like that that really get me. And sort of holding up a mirror to society, or holding up a mirror to the way the world works. And that's why probably Dawn of the Dead is one of my sort of favorite movies of all time.
So you want social commentary, basically.
I love
good social commentary.
I love Dawn of the Dead, for those reasons, and also because I live about 20 minutes from Monroeville Mall, where the movie was filmed. Yeah. And I've been there countless times, and it is totally unrecognizable today as what it was.
Sure.
All the stores that were there when the movie were filmed are gone. The last thing actually that was taken out of the mall was the J.C. Penney's.
Wow.
That was so integral to the movie. But there's also a lot of racial undertones, and there's so many layers to that movie.
Of course, I mean to all of Romero's sort of original three, it's just the stuff there to go back and think about and see again, and there's more realizations to have about it every time. And for me, that's all my favorite movies have that. Don't get me wrong, if I see a movie that hasn't got any sort of social commentary in it, I still enjoy it. But I think all great movies should have a sort of undercurrent of subtext, which is what we tried to do with Good Tidings. Don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing myself to Romero or anything like that, but we didn't want it to be just purely surface level. We wanted to have something underneath that people could go, oh yeah, I see what you're trying to say there. So yeah, for me, that's what really does it, is a bit of substance, a bit of subtext, and nice little bit of social commentary.
Even watching a film like from one age to another, like, can be a completely different experience. I remember watching Dawn of the Dead when I was a kid and just being like, "All right, look at all the blood and gore." But now I watch it as an adult, and it's still just as amazing. But you see it from a whole different perspective.
Exactly. So it's something that it's a gift that keeps on giving, isn't it? Really, a movie like that.
I mean, I love that though. You know, when you watch something as a kid and you don't quite you don't pick up on that, but you still love it. And then when you watch it, you go, right, I get it. You know, awesome. That is awesome.
There is that surface level of, wow, this is cool. These guys are trying to survive these zombies. They're in this awesome setting. They're in this mall. There's carnage happening all over the place. You can enjoy it just simply for that, or you can delve into it. There are also movies like that. Gifts that keep giving.
Gio, I think we're back to you. Have you made a decision yet?
Yeah, I think I get enough social commentary watching the news so far, so I'm definitely not going to give the same answer. Especially with like what's happened in the UK and the US in 2016. I'm going to go with like Terminator 2, because I can watch that film at any point, at any day, and I enjoy it, and it doesn't get old. And I think I just need a film that just makes me happy to be alive, or just forget that I'm alive, depending on how I feel. And it can do both. So, yeah, watch T2. It's a simple
quite
answer.
a grim story though at the end of the
James
day.
Cameron, master of sequels.
It's great. It is, but
it's fluffy and it's nice and it's comfortable.
It's a tremendous movie. It's completely good choice, I would say.
It's like
Gets watched once a year at least.
Nearly perfect.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe not the latest one, but yeah, I could watch all three, I suppose.
Well, 1 and 2.
Oh, no. Let's not go with number 3 now.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, could nice movies that kind of make you, I call them the warm fuzzy movies that you can watch.
Hangover movies.
Yeah,
I feel like a social commentary for movies, it was good for me when everything was going okay and I wanted to delve artistically into other problems that we had in the world. But now all our problems are so in our face all the time that like I just feel like it'd be more on top of the mountain. It's like, what's the point?
The news is the worst movie out there.
Too much news, Gio. Too much.
I do. I read the news all the time. It's depressing.
It is. That's why I avoid the news. Just depressing all the time.
Oh yeah.
I know. It's grim.
Yeah.
It's grim.
I don't know.
Well, that's why we kind of get our social anxieties out in that way, don't we? In the movies and tell our side of what we think's happening and that type of thing. But yeah, I love a nice movie that I could just not so much have to switch my brain off, but can lie on the couch and just chill. And Terminator 2 is
pure brain dead movie.
I'm still a Terminator man. No, I would rather watch Terminator than Terminator 2 though.
Terminator. I mean, you could argue an undercurrent of slight social commentary in those movies about
definitely
our own advances in technology turning on us eventually.
We're all gonna blow ourselves up.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't screw with time.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Even those movies, those turn your brain off movies, they still have they're iconic because they have an undercurrent of something deeper.
Oh yeah, because like Terminator is always relevant from now on until humanity's gone. It will always be relevant. I mean, just look what did Trump say a couple of days ago? He wants to redo all of America's nuclear weapon system, whatever. Yeah. He wants to expand and all that stuff. I'm like, that's dangerous talk.
Yep.
It brings Terminator back to the.
The minute we have any AI popping up, what do we all think? We all go, oh shit.
Siri's getting an upgrade.
Cyberdyne time. That's it. We're all done. End the
story. Why not use voice command? Yeah. That freaks me out too much.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's amazing for me. I use it all the time. I'm totally asking for it.
It doesn't understand me. I say like Terminator 2 comes up with like term paper poo.
It's like, this is completely different from what I want.
Yeah.
So, are you guys working on another film together, or do you each have your own projects that you're working on?
No, we are looking to jump on a project together again, straight away. Really, we want to keep it going and sort of crack out another feature as quickly as possible. But yeah, it's kind of tough once you've made your first movie to jump on your second. But we've got a plan, and hopefully in 2017 we can sort of go through with it and get this shot really. So yeah, we're definitely doing something together. It's another two-headed snake entertainment production that we'll be doing. But yeah, there is definitely something on the horizon. It's a sort of mockumentary, true crime mockumentary. That's what we're looking to do.
Yeah, that basically sums it up. I mean, as you say, it's difficult, isn't it, really? Because to a certain extent, you've kind of got to see how your first movie does.
Yeah.
Sort of take stock again at the start of the year and go, okay, what can we do? Because we're not, like I say, we're not James Cameron. We're not these guys who can just go, hey, give me 20 million. We've got to be
able to get it funded. We fund, Gio is our exec producer, so he funded Good Tidings, and we've got to just kind of see how the distribution goes to be able to fund the next one, really, or maybe look at a crowdfunding or something like that. But
does that dictate, doesn't it? Do we do it this way? Do we do it that way? We will do it, but which route we take to do it is dependent on sort of several factors.
Sounds good. Looking forward to that.
Now, we have one more very important discussion question for you guys. It's something that Paul and I, talk about often. It comes up a lot, surprisingly. What is your opinion on hairless cats?
Hairless cats?
No reaction.
They're kind of scary. They kind of scare me. They're a bit weird.
I prefer hair.
Yeah,
but
Corey and I
no,
disagree
one
on
of
that
one of our actors that loves hairless cats because he's allergic and he's always got it on his Facebook. They're pretty cute, really.
Yeah, so he does.
Oh, he does.
And I think
Sears.
it looks like a freaky, weird thing that they've just dug up or something, and like Pet Cemetery cat or something.
Yeah, it looks like totally. Is it Egyptian or is it is
Sphinx.
that what they're called? Because totally look Egyptian.
Yeah, they're adorable. I mean, I think they're just crying out for attention and love.
I think they look like moving abortions. I don't trust them.
I don't trust them.
Wow, these cats look kind of strange, but I got with a girl. She's actually sat over there at the moment. Who had this sounds a bit mad. She's got a hairless rat called Bo, and it's the cutest thing ever. And now
they're pretty cute too.
And going, oh my god, I'm finding these things cute now. All of a sudden, there's something about them. They look.
They're weird.
This is the most thought I've ever put
Give me
into this.
a fluffy cat. I like cats. I like fluffy cats.
Well, see, I had two cats, and it always seemed like they have something to hide. And hairless cats, they have nothing to hide. It's all there for show.
It's all out in the open. They don't need to keep something. Yeah, that's why cats are kind of a bit they're a bit dodgy, aren't they? They're a bit dodgy. There's something about cats that.
Yeah, they got a resting bitch face cats, to be honest.
I mean, I had one cat. Her name was RJ, and she literally woke me up one night. She was pawing my shoulder, and I woke up and I was like, "What do you want?" She sneezed in my face and walked away.
Cats are evil in general.
I think that sums up cats pretty well.
I read something about dogs are aware of the fact that they're sort of alphaed by their owner, but cats consider you their thing.
Yeah, totally.
My thing.
With their bitches,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're bitches. It's also when you kind of when they wake you up in the middle of the night to give you them some food, and you put some food down, they just walk off, and you're like, oh my god.
Oh my god, yeah, they used to knock on she used to scratch at my door, because I used to live just separately from the house. So I used to open the door and just wait for it to come in and just sit there for ages going, all right, thank you.
They just want you to be up doing stuff for them. That's why I kind of like them. They've got this sort of fuck you attitude. It's like, fuck you, do this for me, go up. And you're like, ah. You do it all the time. I've had cats forever, and I'm still doing it. Even at 5 in the morning.
It's just like the punishment. I had a cat. I love my cat. I was devastated when it died, but yeah, definitely.
When I see hairless cats, I think we as human beings have gone too far with experimenting and with animals. Like, I think of that scene in Jurassic Park when they're talking about the park and the cloning the dinosaur. It's like, what right did we have to do this? We've gone too far as humanities. To me, that's hairless cats. It's just proof we've gone too far with experimenting.
I don't
That's
think
it.
we've gone
Done
far
it.
enough.
Well,
We've
until
done
we
it.
have sharks
Done
with
it.
laser
Hairless
beams,
cats.
maybe not.
We should go as
Yeah, I
far as
agree.
we can.
I
No,
agree.
no, no.
We'll end up with like hairless everything. Everything will just be like
Yeah,
hairless.
so what? I reckon 4-ass monkeys and all that. It's just
hairless donkeys and like
Inside out cats.
inside out cats and
as long as
I
we're
agree.
not torturing anything or
Find that
inventing
cute core.
super bug. I reckon
Adorable.
we should just go for it.
I was babysitting my 4-month-old nephew yesterday, and I gave him a stuffed Grim Reaper to play with. I mean, come on.
That's how it should be.
Perfect. Start them early, man. Start them early.
So where is it that we can follow you guys to learn more about your future projects? Is there a specific website or Twitter handle we should be looking at?
We do have a Facebook. We've obviously got a Two-Headed Snake Facebook page and a Twitter. They are Facebook.com Two-Headed Snake. Two-Headed Snake. And the Twitter handle is at 2HS Entertainment.
Now, is that
And you
2
can-
spelled out or the number 2?
That's the number 2.
Okay.
Sweet.
We have to fit. Our name is huge. Our name
Yeah.
is huge. Two-Headed Snake
Oh.
Entertainment totally can't fit on any social media page. So
awesome
yeah,
name, though.
it's always a 2. But that's where you can find out anything that's going to come new from us. We've also obviously got our we've got a website that will be going live real soon in the new year, which is just twoheadedsnake.com. And that will be live in the beginning of the new year, which will have all our kind of behind the scenes from Good Tidings, photos. We'll have all our shorts on there. So you can catch anything, any news updated on the website. And
Yeah, we should send you guys our. We'll send you guys our links that maybe you can like sort of paste in where this is going up or anything like that.
Definitely. Yeah, we'll have to follow you guys and learn more about what you guys are doing in the future.
Nice, man.
Excellent.
Nice.
Thanks.
So,
Thank you very much.
no problem. You heard it here, folks. Good Tidings, a film about 3 serial killer Santa Clauses by Stu Jopia, Stuart Bedford, and Giovani Gentile. Guys, thanks for joining us. It's been a really fun show.
Cheers, man.
Thank you. Thanks
Thanks for
having
coming
us.
on.
Oh, one quick thing I forgot to ask. Where can people watch Good Tidings?
It's only on North American distribution at the moment, but you can catch it on Amazon Video, Vudu, Google Play, Xbox Network, and iTunes.
Sweet. So if you haven't watched it yet, go out and do it. It's well worth the money.
'Tis the season.
Nice.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Nice one. Cheers.
If you have an independent film you're working on and would like to discuss it, you can email us at bmoviebros@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at bmoviebros or my personal Twitter at bmoviepaul. Don't forget to listen to our podcast. We review a different B-movie each week. New episodes every Friday on our website, bmoviebros.com. If you have a movie you'd like us to review or any additional comments, feel free to leave a message below. This has been another B-movie interview. We are the B-Movie Bros saying, be brave, be alive, and be back next time.
Jag rånar inte. Och sen